Hello YouTube, my name is Fag. Welcome to my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And here we go. Who have you been keeping up with the Switch 2 lately? Cause I got a video pulled up from Rev. He's gonna talk about the Switch 2. Thought we'd check it out together. Because I've been hearing a lot of rumors about the Switch 2 and stuff. And I trust Rev as a news source. He's usually pretty good and accurate with the new stuff. So let's see what it has to say about the Switch 2.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So over the past couple of months, there's been a boycott targeting the Nintendo Switch 2, where people were saying upon its release they were not going to purchase it because of greedy business practices by Nintendo.
And yet they purchased it probably. How much want to bet?
Now, with this particular boycott, the grievances are pretty reasonable. I think we all know Nintendo is extremely greedy. However, a lot of the people who were voicing their support for this boycott on social media, they were also consumers. And when it came to their opportunity to pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, that's exactly what they did. And the result...
Yep, I called it. I knew they was going to. Because if somebody got console coming out they love, no matter what they say, they're going to pre-order it or be first in line to buy it. I'm guilty of that myself. Not about mad bad mouthing something I bought, but about being first in line to get something.
Are very clear. As you can see, in the 2 or so days since its release, the Nintendo Switch 2 sales have shattered records. It's the most sold console in a 24-hour period, and the projections for the coming months are also very insane. This is not too surprising. People are very vocal for their support of boycotts online, but when it comes to the actual decision, a lot of people behind the scenes will go ahead and purchase what they were supposed to be boycotting anyways. And out of that, there's been a lot of anger, a lot of spite, and a lot of toxicity in the days since the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. And nothing captures it more than this tweet right here that had thousands upon thousands of people.
What in the world is wrong with people? Really? They're gonna put that kind of message just for a simple fact they bought a Switch. Man.
Seething. Now you can see the caption here, never game end yourself, with a picture of 2 Nintendo Switch 2s and 2 pizzas from Pizza Hut. Okay, this is a very common joke on Twitter. It's not meant to be taken literally or too seriously. You just post...
I'm sorry, but that is a poor joke. It's something that should never be joked about. You know what I mean? That is some serious business that I don't think deserves to be any jokes. Well, not here I find funny, at least.
Post this when something good happens to you, right? And you can see the reactions. 100,000 likes, thousands of interactions in the comments and quotes, a lot of very angry ones, and over 20 million views. Now, what's going on here? Well, people saw this image and they just got very...
I know what's going on here. You're getting ready for a pizza gaming party.
very, very upset. And I really can't believe some of the tweets I've seen. Here's one with 85,000 likes saying, I think I might game end myself for living in a third world country. Bro, what do you need 2 for? Now,
really? Just because you can't afford one, you're thinking about doing that? Take some help, please. Now, granted, your situation isn't that great, but there's no need for that. There's always something to look forward to. Something I found the hard way through trial and error. You know, please seek help.
Now, this user, of course, should have checked with this individual before they actually posted this, because God forbid someone in a different part of the world might see it. But of course, to clarify something that's going to be relevant for the rest of this video, the original poster is someone who, well, they only bought one. It was a photo they took with a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, or a family member. We don't know. Who cares? But they only purchased one themselves. And still, we saw viral tweets like this with over 100,000 likes. This one's now been deleted, so that's why it's a little bit fried. But this person said some of y'all are really privileged.
That's just the haters coming out of the woodwork. That's all that is. They want one themselves, but probably can't afford it.
Yes, buying a Nintendo Switch 2 makes you very privileged. When people in the Sudan think about, man, what privileges am I missing? They're thinking of a Nintendo Switch 2. It's kind of crazy to see the number of likes that this would get. It really shows a pretty clear narrative on social media about this. Now, of course, a Nintendo Switch 2 or any console for that matter, it's a luxury, right? If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be getting it. But this doesn't make you a privileged person just having a Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's kind of ridiculous. And of course, there's people who work hard and maybe don't have the extra money to buy something like this. But if they're not doing that, it's because they're being smart with their money. I've seen completely broke people be able to purchase something like a Nintendo Switch 2. It's just how people want to spend their extra money on something like this. Now, credit where credit is due, this user would delete their post, like I said, and say, I'm very sorry to say that then I wasn't expecting my tweet to blow up the way it did. If it comes out as mean.
Now, the Wii has some good games. I enjoyed playing the Wii. Keep like those little adapters to it, like the gun adapters, the bowling ball adapters, stuff like that. Yeah, quite a bit of fun with the Wii.
Mean-spirited, then I apologize. I'm glad you're enjoying your new console and celebrating. It's not an opportunity most people have, but that shouldn't detract the joy. This part's fair. Also, I always love the excuse though, like, I never thought this would blow up. Yeah, neither did this person. They didn't think posting a couple pizzas and Nintendo Switch 2s would get them death threats, accusations, all kinds of crazy stuff we're gonna look at, but that's what happened. But
oh, now comes the crazy stuff. Buckle in. Going for a ride, guys.
But at least, kudos to this person for attempting to take down their post and recognize it was a little too mean-spirited. But that didn't stop many other people from going completely crazy on this. Some VTuber here saying, maybe I'm just too woke. If you already said you're any level of woke, you're too woke. But anyways, they say, maybe I'm just too woke, but I.
That is so true, Rev. That is so true. Hackers and shit. Not all of it, some of it.
Feel people in the higher class flexing their wealth in a time where some people are living paycheck to paycheck and can barely afford food even with a job, all thanks to this BS economy.
Well, and the truth is, some people that bought Switches are probably going without food to be able to afford it like they did. That's something that a lot of people don't think about. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and you want something, sometimes you gotta sacrifice and you're living up lonely for a month. Lonely ramen noodles, it happens. I've been there as a gamer, want a new system or a new game but couldn't afford it. Yeah, it's just something you have to deal with.
Comes across as a bit insensitive. Happy for them though. You're not happy for them. Like, don't even pretend.
No,
This is
no.
passive aggressive. But this is kind of crazy. Is there ever a good time to post anything then? Like, do you think back 50 years ago or 50 years in
Let
the
me
future,
stretch
there's
for
going to be
second, guys.
a better, more appropriate time to post your Nintendo Switch 2? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is not supposed to be a direct insult to everyone out there. She didn't post 2 Porsches and say,
No, pal, they're definitely not happy for them. That is a passive aggressive thing. And this right here totally invalidates what they're saying anyway. I agree with another streamer on that point. Ember always points this out, and I agree with it 100%. If you have to put something like this in your post, you've already invalidated yourself.
get on my level brokies, okay? It's not like that. This isn't that insane of a thing to see, especially given the fact they only purchased one for themselves. But let's move on to another tweet. This person saying, it's funny, haha. until you remember people who usually fall in depression don't have the privilege to buy even food. I'm searching for the correlation. I don't understand what depression has to do with this image, but I guess this person's taking great offense to that. But again, if you're like severely depressed, I don't think you should be spending your limited resources on Nintendo Switch 2.
There's severely depression to stay off Twitch and Skype and whatever else is out there. Because these platforms like this are not good for people's mental health. There's a lot of negativity on there, and it's hard to navigate to the good stuff. I guess so. I guess so. Because if a person is really in a desperate situation, right, they're not going to have social media. Not necessarily. Yeah, they might be able to get a free phone to the government and have internet that way, but if you're at the point to where you can't even buy food, I feel sorry for you. I wish there was something I could do for you, but at the end of the day, there are things available for people down to the low. You got food banks, you got food lines, you got shelters, you know. But to try to blame something like this because somebody was able to buy one and are excited to show it off with the poor joke, I might add, right? That says more about the person posting this than anything else. Just somebody being petty at this point.
Or spending your time seething about people purchasing Nintendo Switch 2s online. You should use your resources and time for something that might actually help you. But here's another one that's also deleted saying, you people wouldn't survive a day in a third world country.
What does that even have to do with it? You live in another country. I'm sorry you don't like your country. Don't try blaming other people because they were born somewhere else. You know, I really don't know what else to say about that. It's just trying to justify their hate because of the country they were born in. Come on now.
What does that have to do with anything? Like, this is it's literally crazy. Are you going to do this with every picture someone posts showing any sort of a luxury they've ever purchased in their lives? It's such an aggressive and hostile thing to say. This person says, I hate rich people. This is what being rich looks like in the year 2025,
Sorry.
right? But let's get an example of what rich really means. So this comment says maybe you should actually, telling the original poster to end their life. And this person says, jealous brokey. This person responds by saying, you're a 19-year-old YouTuber, get a real job, you effing bum. This person says in quotes, YouTuber. And they show that they have a YouTube channel in their bio.
He they it. Okay. Yeah, I know I hate when it happens. But hopefully I'll be able to not worry about that. I should be able to get YouTube Premium soon, so yeah. They don't watch about ads anymore. Sorry for inflicting on you guys. But this whole thing here is just crazy. People are going off the rails just because somebody chose to buy a video game system. I mean, is there more than usual? That's crazy.
Which doesn't make them a YouTuber for a job. They say even if I was a YouTuber, which I'm not, I can still afford a Switch 2 plus all the extensions with my own cash, which is more than I could save for you. Glad you have.
No, Gore, I tried that a couple times, and each time it said, like, something didn't exist or video didn't exist or something like that. And I've always had to go back, so I tried though, I really did. Maybe it might be the browser. Uh, that's that's the makes it able to work like that because I'm just using Edge. So I had to experiment with that, I guess.
Have over $1,000 in no bills, effing loser. You're saying someone's a loser for having expendable cash? Again, let's make this very clear. People shouldn't be shamed just because they don't have money. But when you go out there and you start shaming other people
Ah,
for showing off their Nintendo Switch 2 and being very hostile towards it, you're kind of opening yourself up to get made fun of in response. And this person says calling someone a loser when it's clear you're poor and angry about it is funny. Says the MF who would betray his own morals for money. Go F yourself. Wow. If your morals depend on whether or not you're going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 that you basically admit you couldn't even buy anyways, that's a harsh reality that you're living. I don't know how we got here. Apparently, it's immoral to buy something with your extra cash for the purposes of entertainment. And again, I'll make this clear. I have no interest in a Nintendo Switch 2. In fact, when I look at that photo, the only thing I care about is Pizza Hut. Okay?
pizza does sound good, don't it? But everyone gets me right. People are in a big tiff about the UI of the Switch 2, about how it reads. I don't know why people have such a problem with that, since Xbox's UI has been like that since pretty much day one with the Xbox system. All right, basically saying that you don't own a machine, you're just leasing it for a definite period of time, and they can break it for whatever reason they want to, right? Xbox has been doing that since day one, so it shouldn't be surprising that Nintendo started doing it. And then there's the price hikes, which I can understand. Trying to blame the tariffs on price hikes when I think the tariffs are on pause or whatever it is. Now, yeah.
Say what you want. That might be my hottest take. Pizza Hut slaps. Deal with it. Okay? That's what I'm more interested in than anything else in that photo. But, anyways, let's move on. People getting very direct now. We're killing you, bruh. You greedy ass bitch. That seems like a very disproportionate
Wow.
response to someone posting this picture. Also, to be honest with you, I don't think you're putting your hands on anyone. Like, I'm just going to be real.
Wow. This person should be banned off kick. You should never, ever even joke about that, especially on social media, right? It's one thing when you're with your friends, right? Then when they, I'm gonna da 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 da, for doing that. But it's one of those things also like if you're friends couple enough to joke like that, that this didn't really an issue, and more likely if they'll be fine in a couple of seconds. But that is still nothing to joke about, let alone this. Right, both of these are poor taste, no matter what circumstances you're in. There you go. Have more like it. Or have them stub a pinky toe, then unalive themselves or be unalived by someone else. You know what I mean?
I don't think this person's touching anyone. If they're saying stuff like this and acting like this on the internet, let's just be real. Here's a response saying, these groomers. Yes, we're throwing around grooming allegations
Which,
because someone bought a pizza and a console. That's Twitter in
wow.
a nutshell, by the way. This is not
These comments keep getting more and more off the rail, don't they? That's just crazier and
even
crazier.
surprising whatsoever. Here's another person saying, we all deserve to die in a horrible death for the plague we left on this planet. I regret to inform this individual it is simply not that deep. It is simply not that deep, and there's really
No, it's not. You shouldn't be hating on somebody just because they bought a Switch too. That's like one of the stupidest things to get mad over somebody over. They want to enjoy the console, let them enjoy it. You know, they're not hurting you, they're not bothering you, let them be them and you be you.
Really nothing else to say here. Here's another one saying, why do people get so viscerally angry and miserable at people expressing happiness? This is the most insane thing to get mad over.
Yeah, I can agree with that post. I thought you'd be more bad over the bushy earbud than the stub toe.
100% correct. Now, let me share some wisdom. Like, really, let me tell you, I'm a controversial individual. Everyone watching this video knows, right? I've made some hot takes, things that go against the norm, what's safe, all these things. And I get backlash for that. And that's pretty expected, right? Even though, maybe it's not so proportionate in response, but nothing makes people angrier than when you make a post sharing something positive in your life. Trust me, you share any milestone, anything positive going on, something that you're happy about, you will get more hate than anything else. It's
That's true. Because people keep trying to tear you down. Whenever you ever build yourself up in a little bit, they want to tear you back down to their level. That's all it's all about. Just people being petty.
actually profound, especially on Twitter. And the people will come out of the woodwork to try to give you the most vile and just delusional
True,
responses the
true.
second there is.
I'm sure they can, especially Kitsu. Because Kitsu talks about men's stuff a lot. And she gets a lot of backlash for it. She probably gets the most backlash out of any VTuber I know because of her stance on that and talking about it all the time. You know, but she stands by her guns, right? You have to respect her for that. She doesn't back down, and she stands by what she believes in. And I respect her greatly for that.
There is something that shows any degree of happiness. And you don't have to like psyop these people. You know why they're so upset, because obviously they're upset about their own life, and that's really the easy explanation to why people get so viscerally angry about those expressing happiness on social media. It's kind of sad at the end of the day, but it doesn't make it okay, right? But the original poster would make a follow-up quote saying this: posted a picture of my Nintendo Switch 2 and a pizza, and I've been called every slur in the book, and also a disgusting, privileged consumer American. So, hey, can anyone pinpoint the exact moment people started going insane? Personally speaking, I think it was Harambe.
I like that. I like that take.
That's about the time I think everything just went haywire on the internet.
Yep,
I
yep.
guarantee a decent number of you just agreed with me on that one. But
Sorry.
in all seriousness, I don't really know. It's just kind of sad, the state of things, and especially since a lot of this stuff on Twitter in particular has been monetizable. Like, people already did this for the love of the game. People are already incredibly toxic and hateful just for the sake of getting attention on Twitter. But then they added in blue check marks, and now people can make 15 pennies doing the same thing, and it's a big deal for them. And that's really just why things have gotten increasingly worse on really all social media platforms for that matter. But of course, as you might guess, people were also fuming about this response. This person saying the fact this is lost on you is insane. I think you might be the one who's a little bit insane here.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yeah.
bio of the week. Absolutely crazy. And it all starts to make sense, right? Yep. Marxist.
Man, they got everything in that bio, don't they? That's a crazy ass bio.
In the bio as well. Is that surprising at all? Another commie LARPer on the internet trying to attack people for, I don't know, just living their life like a completely normal person who actually seems to have a source of income and can spend things on some luxuries they want to enjoy. Do you see why a person like this would be so angry about it? Yes, many such cases. Then you got this person saying privileged white R word. Can't understand why making a gay men joke is rubbing people the wrong way. LOL, that's why I changed white to YT and suddenly my post isn't hateful. No, it's clearly still hateful because you're attacking her because of the color of her skin. And you changing white to YT, which is how people type it out on social media, it not only confirms you're hateful, it just also makes you kind of a coward. Like you want to give the smoke.
Now, I have to say, right? right, right. I have to say, I see this, I automatically assume somebody's talking about YouTube, not white, right? I don't equate something that's supposed to be YouTube as racist. They're shaming that person for making it racist. Shame on them.
But protect your account. Everyone knows what you're trying to say. You're mad because she's white. And also, they say the R word while trying to act like the progressive one. Many such cases. But, anyways, you have this person also saying there's an active boycott against the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's just outrageous. And you bought two of them. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen when you posted a picture of you with two Nintendo Switch 2s and two pieces of, or pizzas that you're sharing with someone else? Ooh, how did you not expect endless harassment and allegations? How dare you expect people to be normal? That's how I read this, and also no one cares about the boycott, clearly because the sales are insane, so cope and seethe. And then this person says, in quotes, won't somebody think of us poor rich people, end quote. Be effing for real. Again, you are a rich person if you have a Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's a bit hyperbolic, don't you think?
Poor rich people.
Here's another one that is just almost
Okay.
knocked me out of my chair, dude. Because you are a disgusting, privileged American consumer. You got not one, but two. Wrong. You didn't check. And with that BS caption, bitch, to pose half naked on the internet in cosplays of characters that are directed towards children/children media. A majority of people have to work hard and make an honest living and still not be able to afford a damn near 1K console. But cuz you arch your back and hold a Pokeball, you have the right to say never game end yourself. Like people aren't living hard lives and just want a little fun in their lives. Privileged, out of touch, weirdo.
Yeah, no, this person's going out of touch. Not. I don't agree with the don't off yourself thing. But other than that, this person is a weirdo. Yeah, I know, right, pal? Rejecting.
Is this person okay? This is literally Twitter in a nutshell. I'm surprised this is not on Blue Sky. This seems like a more Blue Sky tailored post, like complete delusions, projection, virtue signaling, like long paragraphs saying a bunch of backhanded, ridiculous stuff. You would expect it maybe on Blue Sky these days, but nope, still here on Twitch, and it's glorious to look at. Thank you for entertaining us all on this day. But of course, this post caused a lot of controversy, and it's getting like literally like a quote per minute. People are still seething as I'm recording.
Yeah, I know, right? Because X and Blue Sky, they're just breeding grounds for negativity. And if you surround yourself with that all the time, it's just gonna change you. And not in a good way. You're 100% right, Gore. You're 100% right. Maybe get out, touch some grass, and maybe get laid. If they're of age, I should say. Don't want to be accused of grooming.
This video, and well, I guess let them. It's the highlight of their day, I suppose. But anyways, that's going to do for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next
Ah.
time.
Yeah. Well, I see you're a man of culture, pal. Thank you, Rev, for the video. I enjoyed that.